Hey, what's up, guys? So I've had a peculiar comment and a question from Brett on the YouTube comment saying, "What about the Vienna versus Caro-Kann?" Now, at first glance, it seems as though this doesn't make sense, right? Are you comparing playing the Vienna as white versus playing the Caro-Kann? Well, the Caro-Kann is a move initiated by black, right? So the Vienna starts with e4, and the Vienna game requires e5 on move 1 and then knight here on move 2, normally. Unless they try and play something weird, right? And you can transpose into it. But the Vienna is e5, and the Caro-Kann starts with c6. Okay, so you can't compare them like for like, because one is played by white and one is played by black. And you can't compare what do you do if you play the Vienna and your opponent plays the Caro, because it's not the Vienna, right? If they play c6 here, it's the Caro-Kann. It's no longer the Vienna game. However, I think that the purpose of Brett's question, which intrigued me, is what if you are a Vienna player and your opponent plays the Caro against you? And that got me to thinking. So I've added it here to my Lee chess study, and I found one line that I just want to share with you, and it's literally one line, and it's called the Goldman variation in the Caro-Kann. And let me walk you through it, because here I'll show you 1600 and 1800 set as my rating in Blitz and Rapid, okay? And so from here, black does quite well. Black has a 48% win rate against 47, playing the Caro at these levels, at the intermediate level, improving level. Okay, now the normal move here from white is d4, and that is played nearly half the time, right? The other move, knight f3, is played nearly a third of the time. So between these two, you're looking at 3/4 of all games either play this or play this. Now, what I'm looking at is the slightly weird knight to c3, and that's only played about 1 in 17 games, right? Knight to c3, we're still in the Caro-Kann now, and the most popular move by a country mile, with 88% of responses, is d5. So your opponent is going to play this because they're a Caro player, and that's what you play when you play the Caro-Kann. Okay, and now we've got various lines. E takes d5 is the most common move, but black wins 52% from there. Black likes this. You're trading your central pawn, and the whole point of the Caro-Kann, the whole point of putting your pawn on c6 is so that you can compete for the center and recapture with a wing pawn. So you end up with 2 central pawns, and white ends up with just 1 on d2. That's the whole kind of idea of the Caro. But looking now at the Lee chess database, I see this move queen f3, and 10,000 games, so that is statistically relevant, right? 56% win rate for white, 40% win rate for black. It is the winningest move from this position for white, and it kind of reminds me of something. I've got a knight here, I've got my queen here, okay? So let me just flip over to this position, right? This is kind of similar. This is the Paulsen attack when your opponent plays the best move in the Vienna gambit. So if you're a Vienna player, e4, e5, knight c3, knight f6, you play the Vienna gambit. d6 isn't great, d5 is the best move, right? Knight out here is bad, because then you get into Halloween territory. Not good at all, precious. Okay, but the best move here is d5. And this is actually what I'm going to be practicing, because I'm getting spanked when I face the Vienna with black, right? Because I'm now playing e4, e5, my Kruger repertoire. So the Vienna is so unpleasant to face. It's horrible. Anyway, so the best move here is for white to take. And then black takes here. And there's a few responses, but the most popular at this level is queen f3, and this is the Paulsen attack, right? And it's quite tricky. It's quite tricky to face. Most common move is knight c3 and then b takes, okay? And then you're getting ready to build quite a firm center, and you've got your semi-open f-file, and you crack on from there. Now this position from here, with the queen out here, should be familiar to quite a lot of Vienna players, particularly as you get up the ratings and your opponent knows what to do against the Vienna Gambit and play this move. So you are likely to see, look, so from here, most common moves, f takes, right? Knight takes, most common move, queen f3, okay? Knight takes, b takes. So this is a familiar position. You're going to see this an awful lot of the time. So back to the Caro setup. So this is the anti-Caro for Vienna players, right? Because I was kind of looking for an anti-Caro and looking at the fantasy variation, which involves f3, and that's kind of thematic with the Freddy Krueger. But this might bring us into Vienna territory. So let's go through just what are the most common moves that you'll see from this position. Okay, you can see white's winning 55% against 41. That is a meaningful advantage at this point in time. So most common moves, d takes e4, right? Knight takes e4. And pretty much from any continuation from here, white is doing well. 55 against 40, right? Most common moves again, knight f6, right? Bishop c4, e6. So e6 is protecting this pawn. You know, this is all familiar Vienna stuff. We are on the offensive, right? Okay, carry on. d3. Getting ready to bring this bishop out, probably pin the knight there. Okay. Black plays bishop e7, wants the castle. Get out of trouble, right? We play bishop out here, you know. Knight takes. We're just clicking through. Queen takes. But now here, if queen takes e4 is the most popular move. So we've gone wrong, haven't we? We've gone wrong. We don't play queen takes. So where have we gone wrong? Hang on. So here, with d3, okay, so knight e2, right, knight e2, good move, okay, and it's best by engine as well. So knight e2, this you quite often see this in the Vienna game. Lots of different lines, you'll see this. Okay, so where did we go wrong with that? I'm going to delete that whole variation. So knight takes is common, queen takes, yes, then knight d7. Okay, knight d7 is the most common move, and we are winning 2/3 of the time from here. Bishop e7, we're winning 2/3 of the time from here. So I don't know where I went wrong there. Okay, now you can play d4 or you can castle. Machine says castle. d4 is nice, grab some control of the center, either one is playable, right? Now knight to f6. So he's bringing his knight out here, okay? And then we've got two options. We've got queen f3 or queen h4. Queen f3 kind of pins this knight. Queen h4 kind of pins the knight against the other queen, which would force the king to move, which your opponent definitely doesn't want to do in this position. Queen f3 is also nice. Machine says queen h4. Queen h4 does score a bit better, so I think we should do queen h4, not queen f3. Okay, so I'll say delete from there. Queen h4 is now promoted, and they'll probably bring their bishop out, and then so do we, right? And create a barrage. And from here we play on. It says it's equal, but there have been 10 games from this position. White has won 7 of them. So let's just go over the ideas again. Get rid of that. Okay, they play the Caro, and you play your queen out here. And this is very unusual, because this is only played 2.6% of the time at this level. Out of interest, just for giggles, let's see how often that move is played at the higher level, which would give us an idea of, is it a good move? Queen f3 is more popular at the higher level, 7% of the time, right, by the stronger players. So it appears, and it scores well, 47 against 44. So that, hang on, queen f3, no, 51%. It's still winning, but also queen e2. So the stronger players play queen e2. Interesting stuff. So I believe, I think this is worth this merits further investigation for the reason that if you are a Vienna player, and a Vienna Gambit player in particular, then you're going to see situations kind of like this fairly often in future. So, little takeaway for the Vienna posse out there. If you face the Caro, which of course you will do, it's not uncommon. So c6 here, we're still at the top level, aren't we? So let's bring it down, let's take off the very strong players. Okay, Caro-Kann with c6, not uncommon at all, 7% of the time at this level. Okay, so now you've got a tool that should be unfamiliar to your Caro player, your Caro playing opposition, but be slightly more comfortable, hopefully, for you. So I'm going to be exploring that if I face the Caro, and I will let you know how we get on. Thanks for watching. See you soon.